Clears, this is version 2.13. I'm pushing out. I added a few things here. It's the give it the ability to generate random initial guesses. Now the range I need to kind of coordinate with Cosmo a little bit, kind of get it within range. But right now I think I have a certain range within it. Mainly because when the market changes and all the initial guesses that we originally inputted didn't work, what it'll do, it'll just generate 10 initial guesses just randomly, but within reasonable ranges, okay? And I could kind of tighten those ranges a little better after I get some input from Cosmo, which I talked about. And then I also added a drill down FOI one-click method to the thing. So what it'll do, it'll then start on a 4-week, run through all the initial guesses, and then from the 4 weeks, it'll then find the best ROI for the 4 weeks. And then when it does that, it'll then shrink it down to 3 weeks, find the best for that, 2 weeks, shrink it down, all the way down to one. So this drill down will take a longer time to do, say maybe half hour to an hour to do a drill down completely for one bot. Okay. So this is just to kind of guide it, and we'll see. Just depending on the market status, sometimes we want to have it trade on downtrend and uptrend. Maybe this will allow it to do that, and make it work. So, but other than that, I don't know if we'll see. We're still testing. It's still new. Sometimes when it's downtrending, it's probably best just to not take the risk and just not be involved. But who knows? And then also to give you guys the ability to add initial guesses to the tuner itself. So what it'll do, it'll pull initial guesses out of the spreadsheet that's provided. It's called initialguess.csv in the same folder as FOI tuner. Just open it up. Just follow the format as the Hozbot settings from top down. There's no labeling or anything like that, but I did put a sample in there, and you can just kind of modify it and just modify the inputs, and then save it. And then once you run the tuner, it'll just always grab those initial guesses every time. Okay. Alright, so let me go ahead and do a demonstration for you guys. So let's go ahead and load everything here. Now I got my 6 days. Yeah, so right here is the one-click solution. It's the drill down back test. You can select that now. It should work. I haven't tested it, but I'm gonna let you guys test it for me. It's getting late for me. It's 1:41 a.m. I'm probably gonna get to bed. Put his current activities there. I'll add to it later. There's no functionality behind it yet, but there it is. Okay. Also, this here I added something where you can save it better, but you still need to initialize it. Double click and and then load and all that other stuff to make sure all the variables are actually in the system to set up your template properly. But that's yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to my folder and pull up that initial guess. Alright, so there's my development folder here, and you're gonna get this little it's always been there, but it wasn't able to be used. Just open up an Excel, save it as the format as CSV. Don't save it as anything else, so just kind of save it as is. And if you look at the I think I have a I killed it. Alright, so basically let me pull up my VPS here, expand it. Alright, so these settings will match from top down. Oh, maybe I could do that. Yeah. There it is. Okay, so 0 would just kind of match top down, 32, 1.9, whatever. And this will be randomized also. It picks from a random list of 8. And then 0 for that never changes. 5, and so on, all the way down, okay? So whatever you add here as your initial guess, it'll then pull it from the spreadsheet. And if you want more, just add more along the way, and it'll know how big the table is and pull the data out. Okay, and then just hit the save button, and then close it, and you're good to go. Okay. All right, so let me move that back. All right, what else did I do? Drill down, randomization. Okay, so let me go through the drill down. initial guess how that works. Alright, so we're just gonna walk through this. So what it's gonna do is gonna create the the table headers. It loads my initial guesses, Cosmo initial guesses, the initial guesses from the file that I just showed you, and it generates 10 random guesses along with that. Okay, and then it sets the perturbation type to fixed steps, maximize for ROI initially, and then set the back test period at 4 weeks. So whatever you set is gonna override that, and then it's gonna seek the best direction to just get the best positive ROI. Once it's in there, then it's going to do a moving average sweep to find the best one. Once that's done, it's then going to change the maximization up to maximize the trade amount, then the ROI. And this is the one where it starts to go from 4 weeks to 3 to 2 to 1 to 1 day. So once that's done, then it's done with the one-click solution, and that's pretty much it. So then it'll go ahead and start checking other bots and tuning it and all that stuff. So just make sure you set that and you save it, and then you load it back up just to make sure that it's selected the proper one, and it should work. At least I copied and pasted the labels. Okay, so you see this right now, one click for, so let me click on that, save. Just make sure it's select the wrong one, so I just got load settings, so it should go back to that, and then I should have everything where I need to have. Okay. Alright, so that's all I have for now. Hope you guys enjoy it. I think this should solve a lot of the stuff that's been happening. I noticed that also a couple of API things. If Haas is having some issues, so I'm going to show you this. That could be why it's not pulling data, and it's just using the last variable. So I had all these, maybe they solved it now. When you're just trying to load the data for XRP, Cardano, it just didn't load. So it just kept, going over and over and cycling through all the variables, and no data was loaded. And there was one where I was using, I think it was Tether or whatever it was. I forgot which coin it was. Delta or whatever it was. I don't remember. Yeah, and there was like no data. It was data. Yeah, right here. So I was back testing that even manually, and nothing was working on that one. Okay. And then one more thing was that after it loaded it, it was after the one-click solution was done, it would then start the bot too fast for the next function to catch and clear the history. So it'll clear it'll clear the history, right? No, wait, I don't remember. Okay, I don't know. All I know is that it'll back test it, so it'll clear it right when it's back testing, and then it'll then kick out of the one-click solution. It's done, and then it'll go into my clear the history, start the bot, and it'll start the bot, and then all of a sudden the back test is done. It floods back in, and then the history is showing. So I put a 2-second wait time on that to make sure that 2 seconds I think should be enough. I don't want, if it hasn't, then I'm probably need to increase it to 5 seconds if you still see some histories going on, but I think that should pretty much take care of that clear history problem. Alright, so I think that's all I have for today. I think that's hopefully solves a lot of the bugs, and I can then start work on the auto trader part. Okay, so if you find anything else, let me know. I'll also increase the trade amount to 1,000 coins, so make sure you load up your SIM wallet with 9 million coins, so it should be more than enough. So at 1,000 of anything, it should be able to handle that. And also, if there's any limitations where Tron has to trade a minimum of 107, 1,000 should be more than enough. Okay, thanks. Bye.